I wanted to emphasize to you all those things that we used before, that we learned that now it's almost like second nature. You should be, you can offer those as services for your project. What do I mean? That you can say, hey, when you're setting up Zoom calls, do you know that you could stream live to YouTube? We can help you with that. Either we can do it for you or we can teach you how to do it. You know, it's the idea. You want podcasts, right? Did you have to do it? We can either provide podcasts with you, constant podcasts about your company, or we can teach you how to do it. Same thing with, hey, you want a phone number people call and talk to your, intelligent caller agent that knows about your company rather than in general. We can get you, we can get you a number, right? And we can, provided that it will answer based on your business. Most companies wouldn't know how to do it. Did you know how to do that before? No. Now it's like second nature, not a big thing. We throw out Zappy, right? Most companies. So even those you can add as services, and people will jump on, and actually they're useful for some companies. Pay for it. That's what I say. Okay. So my goal tonight is to tell you what's going to be happening in the next couple of weeks. So we had an exam not too long ago, right? It seems like a long time ago, in person. And I'll finish up grading that second part. I'll give 50% each credit, 50%, just like I did the first exam, 50% for the multiple choice, 50% for the open-ended, and then I'll curve it. So by Monday, I'll have open, you'll see your original scores plus your percentage of your curve score, which I can guarantee you is usually up from what you got. So it's curved up. Sometimes people say, do you want a curve? And I said, it depends, not every time I could curve down too. So it'll be curved up. That's number one. Number two is we'll talk about what's due. So we'll talk about all our assignments due. We'll go into detail with that. And then I'll end class early and address any personal issues that you have. I'll stay with you. I'll stop the recordings and I'll stay with you and ask for that. Okay, so let me share my screen. And let me go to, you see yourselves there. I see myself in the corner. And then let me see what I see here. This is K. And let me go to announcements. And what I want to announce here is, we have Daniel, as many of you know him, and he should be online today. He has volunteered to have office hours tomorrow, April 24th from 9 to 10 a.m. You have him you have his email as group 0 in our audit area. So if you want to see him, don't text him, but he wants email, doesn't want text. Email him that you say you would like to talk to him. So please, if you want to take advantage of it tomorrow between 9 and 10, here's his email. You don't even have to look for it. Daniel Flores at miami.edu if you intend to enjoy. I will post the Zoom link and announcements early tomorrow morning. So he'll set up the Zoom link and let you know there. And then there's 3 more deliverables that he says. And again, I thank him very much for being my lead teaching assistant. Only a year ago, he was in your place, and then he was teaching assistant, and then last semester I had him as teaching assistant, and this semester I promoted him to be lead teaching assistant, even to basically lead our other teaching assistants in training. And he's just been wonderful, and I feel blessed for that. Okay, so let's go to the what's due. And I want to make sure on the what's due, you see right here, Catherine, do you see this? Exam 2, April 21st in person. You see my screen, Catherine?
Yeah, I can see it.
Perfect. So we had that, and thankfully that's over with. I just need to finish up the grading of that, of my sections, and that'll be available to you on Monday. So the next thing that we have is on this coming Monday, we have a final project in class presentation. What that means is this, folks. I want you to come on time. I know that's difficult for people, but Greta, for the first time, I want everybody to be here ready at 6:30, not even 6:35. And at 6:35, we will start. And Greta, can you be so kind and look at the audit area? Who is group 1?
It is Luana, Julia, Catherine, and Jack, and Arena.
Okay. So I'm gonna start with group 1, 2, 3, 4, and so forth. And how many groups do I have?
There's,
Greta?
there's 9.
9 groups. Okay. So we'll do that. So this is due April 28th. You will present, and let me just go to this right here, the final project, the audit assignments, and look at the final project in-class presentation to the professors. So basically, before you present, you have to look at the overall of your project, finish up whatever you need to do in the steps, but also make sure that everybody's following everyone, make sure that the VAPI phone number works. And what I mean works is go ahead and type some information to it, talk to it, ensure that the website looks good, basically via browser and on mobile. And then my purpose is to give you feedback. I expect it to be complete your project, but instead of doing the final recording without getting my feedback and me giving you a grade and marking it, I like to give you a final feedback on ways in which you can improve. So let me look at the presentation. What is the goal? My goal is you to present your project. I will be going through all 9 groups. So I say here in your last steps, make sure that the FastSpot works, meaning that everybody in your group should use the FastSpot, ask to describe the company, ask to describe the team. It should not be coming back all the time. I don't know. The VAPI, ask questions about, basically communicate with VAPI. And you'll have, I'm going to be doing it almost like a fast overview of every group. I'll start with group 1 and go down to group 9. I am requiring everyone in your group to be present. I'm going to be doing roughly around 7 minutes a group. And what you will need to do, since it's only 7 minutes, rather than each person in your group give part of the presentation, I want you to assign one person in the group to present the class. That's for efficiency. The next step after you do this for Monday, on the day of your final exam, before that, you will be uploading a formal presentation in Zoom where all members of your group will be presenting. For Monday night, I'd like you to assign one person in the group to present. All of you will be there. And then what I want is the other people in your group is to take notes on what I suggest. Also, I will be looking at and grading it if your presentation in terms of its completeness. But your main goal here is to present. And sometimes if I know your project, I'll ask you to focus. I may divert your presentation to give you feedback, specific feedback on which I think needs to be improved. And I say here, of course, your presentation will count towards your final project grade. When you have whoever's presenting on their laptop, you want them to make sure that their website is ready in a tab. Their slides are already available. I don't want, as you come in, say, oh, wait a minute, hold on, my slides aren't working. I don't know where they are, my website, it's not opening up. All of this should be practiced and be available right there. So it's almost like you're going to go on stage, you'll be spotlighted, you're on stage, your group is on stage, we're ready to go. On your first slides, what would be good is even have your project name rather than BTE210, section J, group 7, but rather your project name. All your group members, their names, full names should be on a slide. Also, make sure on the first slide on your website, it's linkable, your URL. So even you can go back and forth on your slides, you can immediately have linkable your URL. This is great too if you want to share your slides with someone. This way they can see right away. They want to see your website, they can be linkable. And I'll be reviewing your website too, and also your slides. So you can use PowerPoint, you can use Google Slides. You want them to be looking good. You can, of course, use Help AI to help you make it look better. Why not? We don't want to have too many slides, but we want to be able to do this. The main part is screen sharing. You'll screen share from your website. You'll screen share you'll start with your PowerPoints or your slides, and then you'll go to screen sharing. Basically, I want to make sure that everything works properly. Your social media works. Your social media is being followed, at least by your group members. It's continually being responded to. Your team page, we've looked at that. That should be simple, but it, of course, has to have the right descriptions of who is in your company. I think most of you have done that. Of course, you need to have your videos at least once. Each student has to record their own video on one of the AI tools. Make sure along the part you have to provide a summary and writing on the website on what each video showcases. Your fast spots, you want to make sure beforehand even that you chat with it a few times. Your notebook LM podcast, you want to make sure that when you click, it is actually working. your contact page. And of course, on your contact page, you should also be showing that your VAPI number works. You should have the VAPI in the top of your website, and you should have also the VAPI on the bottom where it says contact us instead of the original 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You should have that VAPI work. You should also look at it in a mobile device. You may even want to log in on someone else with a mobile and then show also the mobile, make sure it's working. You had the, on the slide you had to do the SEO dashboard, so you can showcase your SEO dashboard. You can even see if it's crawled on your website, if you can find it in Google. Also, FastBots, you can showcase your FastBot dashboard under the overview. Have every member of the group try the chatbot on your publication so you can see that they're FastBots in their dashboard. You remember how we talked about dashboards before? That it's based, so you have the overview, so you have the back end of FastBots, you're able to see it. So this shouldn't be zeros. You should be able to have other people use your FastBots. Your last slide, each member of your group, you want to specifically state what that person has contributed to the project. Okay. Questions about, let me stop sharing this. Questions about the presentation for Monday? Finley, any questions in the chat, or you yourself? Do you understand what you need to do for Monday?
Yes, and there's no questions in the chat.
Okay, so what do you think about it, Finley? About that? Where are you along that route? Your
Our
group.
group is doing pretty good. Like all we
Okay.
have to do is the slideshow and then we'll be good.
Okay, so do the slideshow and use the AI, and you may even want to put on your slideshow, you know, basically aided by whatever you used. You know, if you use some of the pictures, you know, with Dolly or whatever, or used some of the other parts, you can create that. Okay, anything else that we need to do? My purpose for Monday is hopefully, Finley, is to say, you know, Finley's group, it looks great. I have no comments. I think it's excellent. Go for it and do the recording. But if there are little things, I say, you know, Finley, this right here is not as clear. See if you can brush that up. This picture here overlaps something else. I can give you little tidbits of that. But, you know, if the links don't work, you know, you haven't done this page, that is not acceptable. You know what I mean? Your grade will, your final grade will suffer from it. But hopefully that's not going to be the case for anyone right here. Okay? All right. So Greg, I'm ready to move on. We got that first part? Thumbs up? Okay. The second part that I have is, let me go back to what's due. And the next part of what's due, that was the in class, is the final assignments, which is due April 30th by 8 p.m. What I suggest, everybody listen to me, Will, is don't wait till 8 p.m. If you can do it in the morning or, you know, latest by noon to do this part, which is in the audit section. There's the recording, which you need to do for that day. And after you do the recording, your final recordings, each of you will fill out a peer review sheet. So, Will, if you wait to 8 p.m., then you won't be able to fill out the peer review. You understand? So think about it. It's hopefully by noon you finish with this, and then each individual will do their peer review. I want you to take some time on the peer review. It's not going to be just give everybody fives and we're moving on. So if I go to audit assignment, and under audit assignment, I can see right here not an audit assignment. These are two separate. On final project, my mistake, final project, final steps, I see it right here. After you finish on Monday, I give you feedback. What I want you to do is I want each person in your group, you get together and you say, okay, we're going to be doing a 10 to 15 minute recorded presentation in Zoom, and we're going to make it as if we were presenting to a group of investors. That means the group of investors know nothing about us and know nothing about our services. Basically saying, hey, we're a great startup, come invest in us. So I have it post Zoom by 4:30, 25 at 8 p.m. This you should do, in my opinion, by noon. What you'll do is you'll record in Zoom. You will have, guess what? No password. You will also stream live to YouTube. So who's ever doing the recording in Zoom, who's ever initiating the recording in Zoom, will have also a YouTube channel that you can stream to. You remember this was one of our earlier assignments. The beauty of doing this final project is basically reviewing everything that we've learned in the class and everything we've done in the class. You can't imagine how much we've done. It's almost like second hat to you. So I want to emphasize it. Make sure you can live stream to YouTube. So that means that you have to have a YouTube channel, whoever's using the Zoom, and that you in the settings have to allow YouTube to be on. Since we have an enterprise version, only the enterprise version allows you to live stream. And you also have turned on your Zoom AI companion summary. So in your settings, you also have to have Zoom AI companion turned on. You'll use your same PowerPoints that you did on Monday. Will, the only thing I suggest is based on what I have given you feedback, you may want to change some of the slides. Also, when you look at other groups, since you'll be graded, with other groups, if another group seems to be, wow, they're such a better slideshow than us, they'll also state how they did it. You may want to upgrade your slide presentation. But usually the slide presentations that's something that, with the help of AI can really look good. So you want to do it exactly the same as you did on Monday, but what's the difference? Each person will be participating. So in the beginning, you'll be introducing each person in your group. What is their role? And probably you'll decide what each person will do in your presentation. Usually the best way to do it is whatever they were responsible for, they should do the presentation. But I leave that up to you, but I think that's the best way. So it's the same thing. Show your videos, so play them a little bit and have those people that were having their videos describe what they're doing, what is important about those videos, what are you trying to teach? What are you trying to offer with those videos? Show your FastBot again, your notebook LM, and during your presentation, you may even want to mention what I did. For instance, if you'd like to have a LM podcast for you, we'll be able to give that to you. If you want something like FastBots, we can do that, showcase your SEO, basically do the same presentation as you before, showcase your FastBots dashboard under view. And the last slide, this may change also based on what you've done before, right? Since Monday till the day that this is due, you'll list each member of your group and state specifically what contributed. It may be, oh, I made additions to our social media. I upgraded our slides from Mondays. Whatever you do, this may change a bit. And then under the audit section, right, you'll then do this. You'll put in, which you should have already, right, your URL. Here is what I want to see too. Once I give you feedback, and you've gotten some feedback from me, you put the corrections you made since the feedback from the professor. So Catherine, your group may decide, hey, we don't want to do any of the corrections. That's up to you. If there's no corrections done, you had feedback from me and you decide not to do it, that's your group. But I hope, Catherine, right, that if you get feedback, why not do that? So the corrections, we've added more posts, whatever we did. We got our VAPI finally to we changed the prompt in the VAPI. We changed the person's voice. We changed the name from Morgan to Catherine or whatever. We're using a better female voice. And then put, of course, your final group link recording. We know how to do it. Of course, we wanted to record to the cloud with no password. So of course, we shouldn't be at this point that I should see a password, that I should see it was from the cloud. Just make it so I can see it, right? And everyone else can see it. The beauty here then, Catherine, is what? That you can pass this on. So not only will you have your PowerPoints, Finley, but you can show, hey, here's my link describing it. Isn't that fabulous? Then you'll also put in your final group, your YouTube link. So you can even say to somebody, a possible employer or possible somebody interested in your services, yes, hey, this is our YouTube live stream link and our final group link recording. And you know what? I just thought about it, Catherine, is once that's done, you can even put it in your website. After you finish it and it adds more, you could even put it at the end. Here's our final YouTube live streaming. Here's our, and then AI companion summary of meeting. And final presentation, the PowerPoint attached with this folder. So if you'd like, you could even put these back into your website. You can't show it to me now because you haven't done it, right? But at the end, you could even put that in, and even, here you could even put corrections made since feedback from professor. It could be not only the correction, but it could be add-ons. So it doesn't necessarily mean what you corrected. You may have just, even besides what I said, you may decide then, hey, we can beef this up, or why don't we add then our live stream link and our summary and our other things have a place on our website to add it, because you're going to have that for a while. And then in your final project, of course, you'll put in any PowerPoint and any additional media. Questions? So let me stop sharing at that point. So to review, Monday, you'll do a presentation to me. At the time of your final exam for this class. I'd like it earlier. Upload your final recording based on what I said. And it'd be interesting, I didn't put this in your notes, is that you even can put some of those URL links, you can put it back into your website. Any questions? So what do we think here? So Lily, how are we doing? Questions and what we got to do?
We're good so far. I don't have any questions.
Okay, perfect. And then Will, do we have anything in the chat or with you?
Nothing in the chat.
And what about with you? What about in your brain?
I mean, I think you articulated well. I think
Thank
I
you. I
understand it.
appreciate the feedback. I appreciate your feedback. Okay, thank you. So next, we're ready to go for the third one. So I'm going to share again. I'm sharing again, and I'm going to go back to our part. So I've done the final project in presentation. I've done the final recording that everybody in the group is going to participate in. And then we have something called the final project peer review. So Finley, what I'm asking everyone in the class to do is to do a peer review. Now on the peer review, everything else gets uploaded to what area? Finley?
Blackboard.
Blackboard, and you have two sections of Blackboard. Which sections?
The
Your
reg-
recordings. Where did the recordings go?
the bottom section, or like the
The audit section, right? The audit section in your groups under final project. Now I have a final project where it will be filled out after the final project video is recorded. Makes sense, right? Because if somebody, Finley, doesn't show up at the final project recording, you want to know about that when you're going to do the peer review. Though we hope everyone will show up, and we hope that everyone will be doing an excellent job. So should this be uploaded, you think, to the audit area, Finley? Your peer review.
yes.
Why? Why should your peer review, what you've evaluated, everybody in your group, why should that be uploaded to the audit area?
So
Do you-
everyone can see it. And
Does that make any sense?
yeah, so everyone can take.
What do you think, Lily? Should your peer review, do you want your peer review, how you evaluate everybody in your group, do you want everybody in the class to see that?
No.
No. Why not? Because it's confidential, right? Remember, we always talk about the need to know, Finley. We always talk about the need to know. Does everybody need to know what you think, what Lily thinks about her other group members, not only what she thinks, how she evaluates them? No, so everybody understand that. So Finley, what you need to know is that the final project peer review should be uploaded in a PDF format to this Blackboard item. This Blackboard item is your regular Blackboard, not your audit area. So Finley, put in your notes there, not in the audit area. It is due by 8 p.m. and no late submissions. So that means, if that's the case, this 8 p.m. deadline, really, I would even change this 8 p.m. deadline to at most 5 p.m., right? At most, I would say by noon, we should finish up this final project. So we have time, right, Finley, to do a final project review. So the final project peer review if I look at this document, it says this peer review should be filled in after the final project is recorded. Download the document and complete. Upload in PDF format only to this Blackboard item. And you see this in bold here, Finley, not the audit section or email. Don't email me. Don't put it in the audit section, and do not do it early. And this final project peer review, if I look at it, I'll show it to you. And hopefully I'll see it sometime today. My machine is overloaded. Look how many tabs I have. Okay, this is it. Do you see? You enable it for editing, and it says peer evaluation form. Your responses, do you see this, Finley? Your responses will remain confidential, so that's why it shouldn't be in the audit area and should not be shared among team members. This evaluation is intended to ensure fair grading, be accurate when grading yourself and others. And if you look carefully in the syllabus, I talk about group grading. So you can look at that. You see the terms, so make sure you put in this, you enable editing, you put your name, your team, you can put your group. Make sure, in this case, you put your name here and your group member's full name here. You will then evaluate was that person and yourself responsive to group chats, to email, followed through on commitment, and was reliable, delivered, completed on time, quality of the work, made a meaningful and unique contribution. So this is 1 through 5. And this should be accurate. So a poor project, when I see all 5s there, that's not a good sign. But when it's an excellent project, it may be also, there may be variability, but that depends. So what I do want is you to reflect, and that's why you need to have some time to do this. And that's why you have to demand, Will, in the group recording, that you do it well before that 8 o'clock deadline. And that is for each member, and replace the name, actually be specific. For each, explain in detail why you assign each of the score. Make sure to be specific with examples. And then you can see in each of these, I ask, list the specific tasks were completed by this team member. And then following that, I give you just a point for additional comments. So you want to talk about, if you want to let me know about the course, the project, anything else you would like to know. And if I go back, let me close this. I go back and I click on final project peer review. Do you see this, Finley? Final project peer review. This is where you submit it. So it says here, upload it. So I have the uploaded files, and then no late submissions or acceptance. So I get it through Blackboard. I don't get it through my email. It is not exposed to the audit area. It is completely confidential, and I want to be that you take it seriously of what happened. You may put even at the end how we could have improved, you know, what had we, and a lot of times we are constrained by time, so we always can improve. And also you can see it, with software, anytime they have, version 1, version 2, it's the same with any software, it's the same with AI, right? With ChatGPT, it keeps on improving. All the AIs have one version, they allow another version, Some, the old versions they make free, the new versions may be subscribed to. That's it. So Sydney, what do you think?
I think it sounds good.
Okay, and I think it's fair, and I think it's something that you guys should be proud of. That's what I'm all excited about. That's why I didn't want to give another exam. I didn't want to give another final exam. What I wanted you to do is spend that time, Sydney, rather than worrying about that, is you have the project, because guess what? You can take it with you. You can show it off however you want to use it, whether it's just for an interview, just to show somebody, hey, this is what I got. And you realize how much you have of being inside and out. So for instance, Sydney, what did you experience here that you didn't know before in this class? Give me one example.
I feel like the most useful was learning like the backside of things that we can do with Zoom, like when we're the ones creating the links and using the Zoom Miami website and just different ways to use AI.
Right. And I ask you, I tell you, even if you look upon, it's funny, I'm in a number of meetings, I'm in a number of committees, as being a full professor. Sydney, I'm on the computer advisory committee. I'm trying to advise, the IT staff. I'm in a number of different ones. I represent the School of Business, or a number of them in this, what they call rank, salary, and conditions of employment, where other, it's with full professors that, if faculty have issues, I come in there and I can ask you, all of those committees I'm on, guess what, Sydney? They're all on Zoom, right? Because it's now, it's just talking, other things, if they have classes, but all those committee meetings, I'm on Zoom. And I'll just give you an example. There was a meeting that I was in this past Friday, and the host was an administrator. She hosted it, and she, at the beginning, she records it. And in the very beginning, when Zoom was first out, she said, somebody needs to take notes. And I said, why should they take notes? Why didn't you record it? Well, I don't know how to record it, right? And then somebody has to summarize, right? I don't know how to summarize. And then all of a sudden, the host, her Wi-Fi went down. So what's the problem with that? They made the Zoom meetings that you had to get permission to enter the Zoom meeting. I keep mine open just for that fact that if I get lost, right, my Wi-Fi has gone down, and my Wi-Fi has, right, that then I'm stuck. If no one else is the host, the co-host, I can't go back to my own meeting, right? So there were a number of professors, deans, the deans of the school were there at Sydney. And she texted somebody, I can't get in. And another professor was the co-host. They made the co-host, and he didn't know how to get in. He didn't know how to make her, to get in. So I had to teach him, right? I didn't want to do remote, but I had to teach him. I said, you see where her face is, now you have to make her he let her join the session. Now promote her to be a co-host. So what my point is, Sydney, is the professors didn't know how to do it. And then I was in another meeting, and they said, oh, we need to take a poll. And, the professors were there. I don't know how to do a poll. The administrator isn't here to know how to do the poll. So I'm just telling you that you think it's just the regular. I'm telling you about professors, and these were even professors that teach technology. So it wasn't like, oh, it's an English professor. What do they know about something? So that's really advantage of what you can think about it. So Ava, what is one thing that you didn't know before that you appreciated with what you learned this semester? Or you think
I
it's
liked
useful?
I liked how on the project, like for us, we were exploring like the resume builders and stuff. And like I knew they existed before, but I just didn't really know what they did.
And what did you learn then? What can they do?
Well they use like their technology is like developed so that um it like highlights certain keywords or like there's like certain parts in your resume that like online scanners look for and it like pinpoints those and like it can also like you can give it a job that you want and it can like modify your resume so that it can like best fit that job.
Yeah. And so what will that help you? It'll help you even doing your own resume, right?
Yeah,
That you almost
exactly.
you can do it and also giving. And what about you, Greg?
Um, I think honestly, just kind of navigating Zoom, like I think someone said before, being able to have the AI companion, have it create like a summary for you, and sort of using like AI in sort of an educational
Setting.
environment.
Yeah, and then you can expand it to a business environment, of
Mhm.
somebody saying, hey, we need a summary of this. And what's nice about the AI is you can summary that companion is it will then take the task of who needs to do what for a meeting. So
Mhm.
if you're going to be leading a meeting, it will say, Greg, this is what you're responsible for. You
Mhm.
need to take care of the social media and someone else. This is your task for next week. And it will go down. And
Mhm.
one of the interesting things is there's more AI in Zoom that I wasn't able to do. You remember things were grayed out,
Yeah.
Greg?
Yeah.
Because the university was afraid to make it public.
Mhm.
But now that we have an AI, and it's about time, and you can see it. I don't want to be so critical because you can think about it. If they don't understand it, they don't want to be liable for something. Just think about if there's a meeting that we have and all of a sudden it gets out. Think about anybody keep track of what's happened in the Defense Department lately about Signal. Have you heard about that, Greg?
Yeah.
What did you hear?
Hegseth, there was supposedly he was leaking some data or something like that.
He basically used not, he used a chat called Signal that's encrypted, but it's not as secured as what the Defense Department uses. You remember almost like we talked about public systems and private. You remember we talked about it in Zoom, and everybody was kind of like confused a little bit. Public doesn't mean that everybody sees it. You have passwords, but the encryption and the controls are not as strict as they are in the private. So who uses private clouds? Private clouds are like the Defense Department. We use at the university, we use public clouds. It doesn't mean that somebody can get into your Zoom account or get into your Gmail account. They're public clouds, but what it means is that your present is shared on another server. I have no idea where it's shared. You have no idea where it's shared, but it could be with a sophisticated hacker. They could get access to it. So what the big hullabaloo was that number one, that he used a chat system that wasn't highly controlled. The Defense Department, our government spends billions of dollars on security, much more than what we spend here. Because what is somebody going to get from me? My PowerPoints? I even publish it, right? What I talk about in class, right? I even have Zoom, right? That everybody in the world could hear it, even though they don't, but we could possibly do it. I'm not telling trade secrets, right? I'm not even talking about our competition, right? And even what do I try to do, Greg, is when we stop class, I make sure that I don't even have the recordings. I turn off Zoom for personal issues that students want to discuss with me. So you can see how issues like that, who was supposed to be there, what is happening is part of security. So I just wanted to you to emphasize what you can do. Another one is no one knew how to do, like, I think it's fabulous, remote control. Somebody's stuck on their computer. Now, when I was having, they gave me a token. I had problems with Authenticator, and they gave me a physical, I have it also. They gave me a physical token. This is like 1990s technology where rather than using my phone, I can use this physical device. I had issues with this. Was I surprised, Greg? No. This used to work with, well, Duo. It didn't work. They had to re-register it with Authenticator. I had the security, since we had the security officer here, you remember? He basically arranged that one of his folks would help me. And what did they do right away? What did they want to do? Is they wanted me to, well, they went through Zoom, and they wanted me, he was doing what? Remote. So he wanted to basically see what was the issue, and he took over my screen. You know how to do that now, right? And I would imagine that most of these people, don't. So he was able to say, give me control, and he wanted to go in my browser incognito to make sure that I didn't have anything in cache. So I just wanted to let you know that sometimes I don't have enough time. On Monday, I won't have enough time to spend, kind of to wrap it up with you, Greg, because you're going to be presenting toward the end. So I wanted just to share my delight in having you spend your time, your evenings with me. And then hopefully, if you want to work, I'm going to be doing next semester work on AI. I do with a number of companies. I'm also with the City of Coral Gables, their advisor. I'm thinking about doing something. I mentioned to Finley. I think it'd be great to do something with mental health, trying to reach out to them, to see here on campus, the counseling, or even with the deans, to see if we can try out some of AI using mental health, or if you have some ideas that you think we can work with, I encourage you to reach out to me. You know how to get me, right? And I appreciate it. So with that in mind, anything else? Any other comments anyone has to share? So I'm going to do attendance, and after I do attendance, stay with me as if you have anything that you want me to discuss with me, anything else. So I'm going to share my screen, and we'll go to attendance. And I'm looking forward to everyone's project on Monday. Let's be on time at 6:30. Make sure, just like we were, everybody was good about that in terms of the exam. Basically, think about it as coming in, but we don't have to go physically anywhere. And this is at 2880. So if Will or Finley, if you can put that in the chat, 2880, and you can stay with me if you have questions. Otherwise, I wish you a good week. Get together, everybody knows what to do, and I'm looking forward to see your final projects. Okay. So did everybody get that? And Greg, did you get in with the attendance?
Yes, I just had a question.
Sure. Let me
about
just turn off. Hold on.
okay.
I'm stop recording, right, to the cloud. I go to